Hi guys, since a lot of people struggle with this, and I have for years, it'd be nice to share some knowledge on how to ledge dash better. But to do that, you have to understand how it works. Okay, so when you grab the ledge, there's an animation where a fox's feet are out. Before it goes straight. See how fox's feet are out? So, for the first 7 frames you touch the ledge, you actually can't do anything. So watch. This is during one of the first 7 frames. I'm going to hold left on the control stick to buffer a release. But I didn't release. Now I'll do the exact same thing, but I'll wait extra long. Now I'll do the same thing. And that proves that you can't do anything for the first 7 frames. If you try to do any inputs, any movement on the control stick, for example, during the first 7 frames, the game won't read it. It won't even register it. So one of the important things you should do when ledge dashing is to understand that after you grab the ledge, you have to wait 7 frames. Pretty much just put your control down for 7 frames, which is a little more than 1/10 of a second, and then on frame 8 and onwards, that's when you should do the control stick inputs. If you try to do anything during the first 7 frames, the game won't read it. So let me give an example. Let's, as I said before, you can't drop from the ledge during the first 7 frames. But let's say you tried to. Let's say you wanted to press back or down to release from the ledge on frame 6 or 7, which is impossible. But let's say you try to do it. The ledge dash inputs is you press down to drop from the ledge, then afterwards you press X to do a double jump. But the game won't read. It won't even buffer the down press. Which means what's going to happen is you're going to tournament winner. The thing that nobody wants to do. And the number one reason for that, what I've learned, is that the tournament winners happen most often when people try to rush their ledge dash too much. So basically, if you try to get off the ledge immediately, you're always going to tournament winner. It doesn't matter how good you are. This is just something where you have to get the knowledge that you have to touch the ledge, wait 7 frames, and then press down on the control stick. That is very important and is the easiest way to get rid of tournament winners. Grab ledge, wait 7 frames, then touch the control stick on frame 8 and onwards by pressing down. And then you will minimize the amount of tournament winners by far. The reason a tournament winner happens is because you're pressing the X button on frame probably 8 or 9. But you're pressing down probably on frame 6 or 7. So the down button, there is no buffering. It does not buffer. The game just overwrites it. It's as if you didn't press down at all. And then you press X, and the game reads the X. And the X button makes you do this jump that nobody wants to do, and they should not have even programmed in the game. But the creators of the game didn't know how bad it was. So that's why you tournament winner jump. Now, so understanding that's the most important thing. More tips. The way you grab the ledge matters, but that's for a different topic. But just for an example, one of the reasons you see people plank like this or like this is because you can actually get off the ledge 1 frame sooner. That has to do with something called ECB. It has to do with like the way the game was programmed and the way you grab the ledge. Basically, if you do this, or if you do something like this, you can get on the stage about a frame sooner than if you had just went to the ledge normally like this. But that's actually very complicated. It's character-based, stage-based. There's a lot of different factors to it. It can get pretty complicated, so there's no simple summary. So that's for a different video. Just search Cardano ECB and just research that on your own. But that is why some people do planking like this. It does make the ledge jump, the ledge dash. You could press R 1 frame sooner than otherwise and still get on the stage. Otherwise, you have to wait an extra frame to press the R button if you just fall to the ledge. That's something not many people knew. It can get pretty complicated, as I said, so that's for like a different video, or just research that one on your own. So, one of the things about ledge dashing, another thing about ledge dashing you should know. So, after grabbing the ledge, what something so you can understand it better. I recommend pressing down between between about 15 to 50% of the way down. You could press it anywhere between 15 to 100% of the way down to drop. But if you're not frame perfect, you're fast fall in the second frame. So here's what I mean. This was, if you press down lightly, anywhere, and lightly means between 15 to 50% of the way down, you will fall off the ledge like this. This is always what the first frame looks like. You can't even act on this frame. You can't shine, you can't do anything. You have to wait until the next frame to do an input. So let's say I was to hold the X button, I could double jump next. However, if you were to press down between 50 to 100% of the way down, that means your ledge dash better be perfect or it's going to be pretty bad. It's kind of an all or nothing gamble if you press it between 50 to 100% of the way down. So I don't recommend that. I recommend pressing it maybe 30, 40% of the way down. You know, let's say press down about 40%. That's a good middle ground. That's a good habit to make, I'd say. The reason for this is, even though it's true that this will always be the first frame, look at what happens here. No fast fall. There was no fast fall because I only pressed it between 15 to 50% of the way down. Now I'll press it hard. Okay, I pressed it hard. Okay, nope, I messed up. Excellent. It's hard to show while pausing, but just understand that if you press it hard down, the same thing will happen. I can't show it while pausing, but if you press it hard down, the first frame of release will always be the same. By the way, the first frame of release is no fast fall, no matter what. But then the second frame will always be a fast fall if you pressed it hard down. Now it's true that if you're frame perfect, you could just press X on the next frame and then double jump up. But you fall significantly faster in a fast fall frame than you do in your normal falling speed acceleration during the first few frames. That means your ledge dash, if you're not frame perfect, will be significantly off. Which means there's no reason you should press it extremely hard unless your controller just can't handle it. I recommend pressing it halfway down or slightly less than halfway down. Like this. You could press it hard, but if you're not perfect, you might go too low and do something like that because you go too low. Just understanding how it works can be useful. So basically, to go over it again, grab ledge, you should wait 7 frames because the game won't read any inputs during these 7 frames. Then, I recommend pressing down about 40%, anywhere between 15 to 50% of the way down. By the way, these are just estimations, I don't know exact percentages. I'm just giving you a rough idea so you can ballpark it in your head. So press down about 40%. Don't press it more than half. Go close to halfway down, but don't slam it down because if you slam it down, you're gambling frame perfect or USD. And that's not a good gamble. Your first frame release will always look like this no matter what. You can't shine on this frame, you can't fast fall on this frame, you can't do anything. You can do whatever you want the next frame. For example, I could shine, or I could double jump, which you would need to do. So as you're rising in the air, you should wait about like 4 frames or so, something like that, and then you do an air dodge onto the stage. Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it right because I was just trying to show while pausing. But then you do an air dodge onto the stage after that. Another thing I noticed, and this is actually kind of controller based, but some controllers, I find it easier if I press straight down. Like, I find it easier to drop by pressing straight down than I do when I do downward at an angle. Downward at a slight angle can be more optimal sometimes with like some characters on some stages, because you do a different wave dash angle and you're hugging the stage and all that stuff. These tiny little details can sometimes make a difference in certain circumstances. But if you want consistent ledge dashes without SDing, I recommend pressing straight down about 40% of the way down, and that way you're still dropped from the ledge without fast falling, and you can get it pretty consistent. So grab ledge, wait 7 frames, press down about 40% of the way down to drop from the ledge, double jump the next frame, and then do your air dodge on. If you make mistakes like this, you do a ledge stand. That's probably because you weren't pressing straight down to drop. You were trying to press some down forward angle to drop, kind of like a down forward angle. Sometimes that can happen. But if you do like a real down forward angle, like that can happen. So if you have an issue of doing this ledge stand a lot, then I recommend pressing straight down to guarantee that you drop from the ledge. Because the only way you do this is by pressing forward. And if you drop from the ledge, it's easiest to do by straight down. If you do turret winners, if you notice your issue is doing turret winners a lot, then I recommend taking your time, slow down, grab ledge, wait longer than you think you should, Like, wait a really long time. Just put yourself in that mindset, and you will be conditioned better moving forwards. Wait longer, grab ledge, wait longer than you think you should, and then do your inputs. And that will get rid of your turn winner issues, most likely. That's what happened for me. If you find yourself SDing, like that, that could mean multiple things. It could mean that means your R press is too soon. So if you find yourself killing yourself like this, then you want to delay your R press longer than you think it should. Just wait a longer period of time than usual before you press the R button. And understanding ECB can be useful too, because sometimes you may think you're perfect, but if you grab the ledge from a wave dash as opposed to like a double jump, that can make like a frame or so difference depending on the character and stage. It can get very complicated, so I'm not going to talk about that there. But knowing that's a thing can be important. So those are some ledge dash tips. Grab ledge, wait 7 frames, press down about 40% of the way down. You can't do anything the frame you drop, but you can press X on the next frame to double jump. And then after a few frames later, you want to wave dash on with the R button. If you find yourself killing yourself like this, delay your R press. If you find yourself turret winnering, which is a very common mistake, wait at least 7 frames. Just grab ledge, pretty much put your controller down, not literally, but don't touch your stick for those 7 frames, then do your inputs. If you find yourself ledge standing, then press straight down instead of at an angle. And those are a lot of the common mistakes, and those are ways to avoid them. So I hope this can help some people, since ledge dashing can be very important with a lot of characters in this game.